Hello, and welcome to Your Urban Connection. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to talk about some people in our communities that are the road warriors. They do all the hard work. They do the dirty work. They're in the streets fighting to uplift our community. Most of the time, these people don't get the recognition nor the credit that they deserve. And tonight, I'm happy to bring to you one of those people. My guest tonight has been a warrior for a very long time. And to be honest, she's the only person that I know that has ever been invited to the White House to be recognized for some of her accomplishments. So tonight, please join me in welcoming to Your Urban Connection, the one and only community activist for many years, Mrs. Juanita Blackmon-Ridge. Welcome to the show, Ms. Blackmon-Ridge.
Thank you. Thank you for that great honor that you shared. Appreciate it.
Okay, now, Juanita, you've been active, a community activist, active in the community for a great number of years. And as I mentioned, you were invited to the White House in 1992. But before we get to that, what I want you to do is to tell us what you've done since graduating from high school that led up to you getting that invite, and what was the recognition for when you went to the White House?
Okay. Well, I have to start out with right out of high school, I really just began working some jobs. I worked for a grocery store, and I became a young mother. So I pretty much had to get out and work. And then I started doing some community work, but it was where I took my children, and the two children that I had, we started out doing some community work. I think I'm trying to recall a lot of this information because we are going way back.
Okay, well, let me just ask you this. When you started, what kind of community activities were you involved in?
The community activities I was involved in was community cleanups, cleaning up the community.
Okay, so neighborhoods cleanups?
Yes.
And you did that in various neighborhoods?
Yes, I was doing beautification projects where we were rewarding homeowners who were taking care of their property. We would pick first, second, and third place citizens in the community. We wanted to just continue to challenge and encourage and motivate homeowners or people that lived in the residence to take pride in their community. So it was a community pride effort. And that's what, kind of kicked off everything was taking pride in your community. It was, the spirit of gratefulness that I had because I became a young homeowner, and I knew the challenges that I was taking on as a new homeowner. And I wanted to make sure that, the community was taking on those challenges as well.
Okay, now I'm going to pause this just for one moment here, Juanita. And okay, so you started out doing neighborhood cleanups, and then what did you get into after that? Basically, what years was that?
That was around 1990. So my daughter was born in 1990, and so it started out, she was surely just freshly out of the womb before I really started getting into community work. It was, some things that had happened along the way, it was just from the births, feeling grateful and just showing my appreciation for the Lord bringing me through so many things. And it was like, wherever, Lord, you want me to do, I will do it, and I will do it the more.
Okay, so what was it that caught the attention of President Bush and his administration that led them to invite you to the White House in 1992?
Okay, so from the community cleanup, the housing projects that we were doing, we also started a cleanup on a street that was known for riots, and it was, I mean, it was a street that had a lot of alcoholics on it. It was just, it was a pretty dangerous street, and most people didn't want to come through 21st Street because of all the different things that were going on in the community.
Okay.
And so I always listen to the Spirit of the Lord and where he wants me to go and where he wants me to guide, where he guides me to. And so I started out with my own nieces, nephews, and my own children. And I said, we're going to just go out. We're going to be obedient. We're going to go pick up trash. We started at the highway, and then we just started working our way to, each day I would pray, you know, Lord, let us go further, because we got to get through. We got to make our community better. We can't just settle for, you know, what we're seeing in our community. You know, it's
Okay,
our children.
so did your work start then at, you're saying 135?
135.
Okay, and you went east to how far?
We went all the way up to 21st and Hillside.
Okay, okay. So was it the combination of your neighborhood's cleanups and then your efforts to clean up 21st Street from some of the negative activities that we saw, and maybe some criminal activities? Is that what caught the attention of the White House in your estimation?
I believe it was because, you know, during that time, there just wasn't any efforts, you know, that were a woman or a mother single-handedly taking on this major challenge. So it was a gentleman that was, I think they called him Roger. He was like the watchdog of City Hall, and we need more of those. But
Okay.
he at that time was recognized. He seen what we were doing because it was on the news, and we had Burger King that helped sponsor it.
Okay.
And so the more it was out there, you know, more kids started joining us. And before you knew it, we had over 50 kids that all came out, you know, and started cleaning up 21st Street. About time we got to 21st and Pyatt, we basically went head on with that liquor store and all those alcoholics that were out there.
Yeah, okay.
And
on the
so,
south
yeah.
side of the street.
Yeah.
Now, for those that don't know, at one time we did have a Burger King located right at the intersection there of 21st and Pyatt on the northwest side of the street. So you mentioned that, and I just want to let people know. Now, when you went to the White House, did you meet with the president himself, or did you meet with some of his administration?
Well, when I went, the trip was a trip to Walt Disney World where the president was going to be there.
Okay.
So when I met President Bush Sr., we met him they picked 1,000 people that were making a difference in their communities all over the United States.
Okay.
And I was number 541.
Okay.
And so they paid for us to go to Walt Disney World. And so everyone, I mean, I met him because I was persistent and I funneled through the crowd.
Okay.
So I got right on up there and got to meet him, take a picture with him. And so I think it was because of my persistence, you know, I ended up going up and meeting the president. And
Okay.
after once they took the picture, he wanted to know more about this lady that was in the picture with him. And so they had people calling me, and they basically said that, you know, the president wants to meet with you again.
Okay.
So when he came to Kansas, they had me travel to Kansas City, and we actually got to meet with him. And I'll get this photo. This was the photo that we met with him on his plane.
Okay.
in
Can you
Kansas
hold
City.
it? Can you tilt it forward just a little bit? Tilt it forward. Tilt it forward. Raise the top. Move the top. There you go. Well, okay, move it up a little bit. There you go, right there. Okay. Okay, now we can see his plane in the background and we'll see a group of people. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you met him in Kansas City, and did he bestow you with another honor?
Yes, the medal that we did receive while we were in Florida at the Walt Disney World, it was 3 people from Kansas that were 1,000 points of light. So they had picked 3 people. And so I was one of the 3. And of course, I got right on in there and right next to the president.
Okay.
Where I belong.
Okay, all right. Okay, now, when you, after that was over with and you received that recognition from the president, you came back to Kansas and you started one of the several groups that you have formed. And was that first one, was that Millennial Moms, or was there something before that?
It was the Concerned Citizens Prison Review Board that I first started, because I started going inside the prisons and doing town hall meetings.
Okay.
Millennium Moms came in 2002.
Okay.
And then Millennium Youth Health, Fitness, and Fun, we did an exercise video for youth to address childhood obesity.
Okay, now, first of all, I want to ask you, I want about each one of these. So what was the purpose of Millennial Moms?
Millennium Moms was a support group for single mothers.
Okay.
It kind of formed right after, I think it was a vice president did an article about single moms. I can't recall all of it, but anyway, he put out a challenge for single mothers.
Okay.
And so I responded back with the challenge of giving single mothers support. And we used to raise Pampers and bring speakers and speakers would bring Pampers for the single mothers. And we would have like town hall meetings. We would have candidate forums where judicial candidates actually had to come into the community and hear from the single mothers.
Sure.
That doesn't happen anymore, but yeah, we started that.
Okay. And then after that, what was your next organizational group that you formed?
From Millennium Moms Empowerment Network, then it was Millennium Youth Health, Fitness, and Fun. From that, it was the Sister Girl Book Club.
Hold up now, because I want you to tell me the purpose of each one of those.
Okay. The Sister Girl Book Club was a unique effort to help bridge the gap for African-American girls. Our theme was reading, writing, and analytical thinking.
Okay.
And we wanted to make sure that we left no sister behind, because Rain Shine wouldn't mind if sister girls didn't graduate on time.
Okay. Okay. And so then after that, what was your next?
And then we couldn't just have a sister girls book club. We had to have a boys book club. Okay. So it was called the Boys, BOYZ, Boys Book Club. Okay. And it was also held at the middle school. And we provided reading opportunities. So everything that they would have other activities, but they had to read. And so we would have readathons. We would have lock-ins where the girls would be able to come and have a lock-in with each other, and they would have speakers come in, and we would address social issues, for instance, domestic violence, sexual violence. And so we would create these opportunities for children of color to really learn about the social issues that could plague them if they didn't pay attention throughout society.
Now, what was the age group that you were working with?
The age group was 6 to 17.
Okay, okay. All right, and did you have mentors at that
Oh,
time?
yes, we did have some wonderful mentors with the Sister Girl Book Club. And they would help us form like mother and daughter breakfasts. They would create writing sessions so that we can bring all the girls in to learn how to write. And in fact, I think I had the best support system around that time when I was doing the Sister Girl Book Club.
Okay,
We had Jamie's mom, and of course she's passed on now, but she was a great advocate for the Sister Girl Book Club. Wilma Holloway, we had some great volunteers that really helped out with that.
okay. And now after that, what was the next group? If you can remember, you've done so many.
Man, okay, so we had the Sister Girl Book Club. Then we went from the Sister Girl Book Club, because we had that for several years. And then in 2010, we went to the Creative Thinkers Learning Club.
Okay.
And it was a lunchtime group that we helped students give, energy to their day and gave them something to look forward to for coming to school. And that's what we really wanted, because truancy was always a big issue. Attendance was always a big issue for children of color. So we have to find positive programs that can engage them so that they can feel good about coming to the learning environment.
Okay, something to entice them to want to come to school and participate. Is that
Right.
what you're suggesting? Okay. Okay, and was that the same age group, or was that more intermediate?
Well, this was more because I've been pretty much centered in the middle school, secondary education. This was middle school students.
Okay, all right.
6th, 7th, and 8th.
Okay, and how long did that program last?
That program lasted till about 2018.
Okay.
And it's still on Facebook.
Okay.
But I feel like, the Lord has led me to do, like pilot projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always have hoped that, someone would help finance them along.
Sure.
Because most of the programs that I started, I end up, funding them myself or, getting donations and such.
Sure.
But it's pretty much been a grassroots effort because I'm hands-on, and it's always, not everyone is a grant writer, so
right.
Been always a challenge to find grant writers to help you.
Okay, so moving forward, what was your next group?
Okay, so then in 2019, I began to do this pilot, award-winning classrooms.
Okay, and that's the poster that I see in the background there.
Yes.
Award-winning students, teachers, and parents.
Welcome.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's the newest project, and then I've done, well, outside of that, I've done the community cleanup challenges.
Okay.
And then I've worked with the ACLU. I've done some criminal justice reform projects. But the award-winning classroom, which we're here to talk about today, focuses on improving the nation's classrooms by helping to close the achievement gap.
Okay, so on that program, I want to ask you some specific questions, because looking at your poster back there, you said students, teachers, and parents. So my first question is this available in all of USD 259 or only certain schools?
Well, currently, we're only in Stuckey Middle School. And that's been something that we've been wanting to do, is expand this concept into all of USD 259 and any school that would, want to help close the achievement gap.
Sure.
It has to be a passion that you have to want to do that.
Okay, now, my second question to you is, what kind of participation are you receiving from parents?
That is a good question. And being that the program is in the school, I can't really say that we have a lot of parent participation because, you know, the kids are going to school and it's more children, it's more geared at children and teacher participation. But one of the aspects of the program is I want to establish focus groups for parents to get them more involved.
Okay, do you have or have plans for an outreach group so that you could involve more parents, or at least give
Yes,
them the opportunity to involve themselves?
exactly. Because it's definitely needed. We definitely got to have the parents on board because they need to have knowledge that there is a gap, and then they need to help join forces on how we can all work collectively to help close the achievement gap.
Okay, now, you know, in some of your other programs, you've mentioned that you were involved in town hall meetings or whatever. Have you attempted to have a town hall meeting with parents regarding this project?
These are plans that I have. Everything comes with a cost.
Mhm.
And so I've kind of, you know, I just implemented the business component of the award-winning classroom this last year. And so I've kind of spent a lot of resources just building up the program
Sure.
and the treats and awards for the students. So once I can get, you know, most places that want to help business, they want you to be established a little bit because
Sure.
they don't there's not money falling out of trees to help new
Sure.
businesses that haven't been established. So, and we don't have a lot of we don't have a payroll per se to, you know, help
Right,
establish that.
right. You don't have the resources.
Right.
Let me suggest this. You know, you mentioned, as you stated there just a minute ago, that everything has a cost. And I would think that parents have to or should recognize the fact that the biggest cost is the students that fall behind and don't make any attempt to catch up. And that
Right.
oftentimes is going to have the cooperation of the parents. And otherwise, it's going to be a losing battle. And we as African Americans are already losing the battle, okay, in these schools because we don't get the attention that we should be getting. And then so many of us are removed from school at the first infraction that we have,
Right.
which doesn't happen with other people, the non-Black and non-Browns. So we have to have a larger, parents I'm speaking of, a larger involvement with the teachers and with our kids.
And you would really want to have parents involved because the component of the award-winning classroom is to keep kids in the classroom, to provide incentives for kids to not be suspended. So I think when we know more, we should do more. So when parents know what, you know, entails of this award-winning classroom, they should be doing more to ensure that their students are being successful. And that's why I had created a invite parents to middle school,
Mhm.
you know, week. Those are some of the efforts that I am helping to implement, is to get parents into the classroom to help observe
Sure.
and to be just present so
Right.
that students will be able to perform better, just knowing that their parents care about them in the middle school scenery.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, Juanita, I want to ask you this question. I saw you on television about a year ago at City Hall speaking to the City Council. and you were talking about a lot of the work that you had done in this community, but you felt that you had been basically neglected by city officials and in terms of recognition for the work that you had been involved in and some of the things that you had done. Has that gotten any better, or do you feel you still are unrecognized for your accomplishments?
Well, it's one thing to receive recognition, but it's another thing to receive the resources, you know, the action behind the recognition.
Mhm.
And I don't think that's really gotten better. Because sometimes, you know, I know that I've been an asset, and most people know that I'm an asset to the community. But if my asset is not creating the flow of support, then I'm basically considered a liability because I'm
Okay.
not getting the support.
Well, like I said at the beginning, you've been a warrior for a very long time. You certainly have been out there doing everything I think that somebody in your position, using your own funds and your own resources to uplift others in the community. And I feel that you certainly deserve more recognition and more credit than I am aware of you receiving up to this point. I mean, there's others that do a lot less and receive more recognition than the warriors like yourself that are out there in the middle of all these battles, fighting various battles, and subjecting yourself sometimes to criticism from the very people that you're attempting to help.
Right.
But I just wanted to have you on. I want you to get the exposure. What I would like to see you do, and this is just unsolicited advice, but I want to see, I think you've got a good program there with your award-winning students. And what I would like to see is more outreach and interaction more with more parents to get
Yes.
more parents involved. The more parents we get
Parents,
involved
we
in this
need you.
project, the more successful this project is going to be.
Yes.
And so I would think that the school board, if they've got you, I'm not the school board, it's the school administration. If they've got you in these middle schools and they can see some success, I would think they would be more than willing to throw some more resources your way to help expand and implement this program into other areas of the school district.
Well, we're going to definitely be praying about that because it's something that definitely needs to be done. You know, put aside personalities, you know, this is for the kids. And this is something that is very needed, you know, put aside any jealousies, you know, our kids really need this. When you look at the statistics, you know, we're not doing very good at all,
Right.
you know, in
Right.
every category. And so it's going to take a village to help raise our children. And I've been the village, but I do need others to come along. And, you know, we don't need to keep reinventing the wheel. We just need to work on the wheel that's already rolling.
Right, right. Now, basically everything you've done up to this point has involved youth. Is that right?
I have
Except
not,
for the millennial moms.
yeah, I pretty much have tried not, oh, I forgot to tell you, I started the Healing the Brotherhood campaign too.
The what
So
now?
yeah, the Healing the Brotherhood campaign in 2009. That was one
Okay.
other initiative.
Okay.
But the Lord has blessed me to try to take on just about every issue and every topic in some form or another. I've tried not to, I mean, I even started one year trying to write a book on how the Black man feels in America.
Okay.
And when I seen how overwhelming that was, it can take you out. Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to say this to you. One of the things I also want to recognize and I want people to be aware of is you have been a long time member of the Racial Profile Advisory Board here. And you all have done some very good work. And I think that your participation in that organization has been well received. And I want to move on to something that I have not mentioned, and most people I'm sure won't know because I only found out about this last night. You have now established an online radio station. Is that what it is?
Yes, I have I produced a song in 2017 called Boy Pull Your Pants Up.
Okay.
And so through that, I'm one CD Baby artist. And through CD Baby, I was able to establish my song on several entities, including Amazon, YouTube. And so I was also able to gain a radio station, which is called Django Radio Station.
Okay.
And it's my own.
And how can people access that?
Pretty much if they're on Messenger, I usually send it to them on Messenger, or it's on my Facebook page. Or, I share the song all the time with students, and it's kind of like an introductory that I have when I go meet students. And so it helps me to engage with them pretty quickly, because they usually love kids like to move around. They like to have a little groove. And so it engages them fairly well.
Okay.
And then my newest upcoming song is called It's Your Day, and it'll be released in 2022. So I'm currently doing some listening sessions.
Okay.
We're selecting people that will want to hear the song and give us some feedback so we can help prepare the song in the most perfected way.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, listen, Miss Juanita Blackmon-Ridge. It's been a pleasure having you here and getting to know about all of the things that you've been involved with over the last 30 years, I guess we could say.
yes.
And I just want you to be recognized as one of the most active community activists, road warriors, hardworking women that we have here in our community. And I want to say myself, I personally want to thank you for all of your years and your dedication to uplifting our community. So with that
I really
said,
appreciate that, because I've often thought of leaving Wichita. And I guess, having a home, that's kind of kept me from leaving. But, I think that we should value those who are, an asset in our community.
yes.
Because, they could leave us and we'll wonder who's going to fill that gap. Or,
well, in the first place, we don't have enough of activists that are really willing to get their hands dirty, okay, or get their feet wet or whatever, and jump in with all four and get involved in areas of concern to our community.
right.
That's the biggest problem that we have. We have too few people that will talk the talk, but will not walk the walk in our
Exactly.
community. So again, thank you very much for your participation, and I want to thank you for taking the time to spend with me this evening on your urban connections. Thank you so very
Be
much.
the solution and not the problem.
Either you're part of the solution or you're part of the problem.
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Take care.
You too. Have a blessed day, and thank you so much.
Absolutely.